please, enough is enough with this madness. Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, your sister's ass, the Pony Express. A very ticked off Vic here. You know what ticks me off? Conspiracy theories. Now, I'm kind of talking about my own personal experience with conspiracy theories. I'm also kind of talking about the fact that conspiracy theories have been around for a zillion years. They definitely have since I was a kid, and I can't believe they weren't around before me. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay. My first experience with conspiracy theories was with my dad. Okay, back in the day, in the mid-'60s, when I was a kid, everyone got a phone bill every month. Now, it's not like today, where your cell phone is on a plan and it's at $39 a month with unlimited calling and text or whatever the fuck it is. No. Back in the day, the phone bill would come in the mail, and that was a whole big deal in my house. You know, because each and every call was itemized on the bill with how many minutes the call was and how much the call cost. So my father would sit down with his glasses, go through every fucking call. Hey, who called KL 57683? You see, folks, back in the day, the phone numbers had letters. Anyway, my father would go down the list and yell at everyone for using the phone too much or for too long. You don't need to talk to your uncle for 14 minutes. Anyway, one day the phone bill comes in and he pulls me aside and he says, hey kid, you want to know the scam the phone company is running? Look at all these calls. The phone company is adding 1 penny to every call because who the hell would know if this call was $1.14 or $1.15? But there are millions of calls made every month, so they're making a nice buck every month by just adding 1 cent to every call, and no one knows. And I said, is this real, Dad? And he said, I don't know, but I'd do it if I were them. Okay, so there you go. That was my first experience with a conspiracy theory. Then a few years later, something happened. Remember the whole Lincoln and Kennedy assassinations that created another conspiracy? Like these murders was connected somehow. Hey, Lincoln was shot in a theater, and the guy ran to a bookstore. And Kennedy was shot from a bookstore, and the guy ran to a theater. Something like that. Lincoln had Kennedy tattooed on his ass, and Kennedy had Lincoln tattooed on his ass. Mrs. Lincoln had a hairy bush, and Mrs. Kennedy had a bushy hair. All this weird shit was brought up like it actually mattered. But I never understood how it all tied together to make a conspiracy theory. Then the moon landing was my next exposure to a conspiracy theory. I remember being at school, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool that men are on the moon. It was 1969, Neil Armstrong. And one of my friends says, hey, Vic, don't be a sap. Nobody went into space and landed on the moon. The whole thing is being shot on a movie set out in the desert. And I'm like, but why would they do that? And my friend was like, who the fuck knows? To scare the Russians or whatever? Nobody went to the moon. So these conspiracy theories are always popping up. Now, one of the more recent ones are the people who tell you that the earth is flat. Now, look, I've done videos about this in the past, so I'm not going to get into it too deeply. But seriously, in this day and age, if you can't get the money together to rent a plane and have it fly to the edge and take a damn picture, then please, enough is enough with this madness. You see, it's really easy to start a conspiracy theory. All you literally have to do is make something up. That's really it. Man went to the moon. No, they didn't. Boom! A conspiracy theory is born. Back in the 60s, people started saying Paul McCartney died in 1965 and was replaced by someone who looked just like him. Now look, you can bring up every possible argument to dispute it, but because you can't literally prove it, the theory lives on in the minds of wacky people. How do you disprove that theory? A conspiracy theory is usually made up out of thin air, so to try to find facts to disprove it, it's almost impossible because there are no facts or something made up out of thin air. Oh yeah, sure, it was real easy to find someone who not only looked identical to Paul McCartney, but they also had to sound exactly like him. And, oh yeah, he had to be able to write masterpiece hits one after another because that's so easy to do. And, oh yeah, no one could tell you where Paul is buried, and there's no record of his death, and even his family, the Beatles and everyone associated with it, is in on the conspiracy. And then someone says, he's dead because he's walking barefoot across Abbey Road. And there you go. Stupid people being duped by stupid people. Look, I'm not sure why some people feel the need to make up conspiracy theories and other people are so willing to accept them. I guess it's just another mystery of the world. Conspiracy theories, that's what ticks me off.